This is the Build a Really Fast Cadillac starter kit right here. First, you get yourself an excellent condition 48,000 original mile 61 Cadillac Coupe DeVille body. You throw away everything. You build that, and then put these other things back on, you know, when you find time. Welcome back to Finnegan's Garage. Thank you for hanging out as always, especially those of you that went to fsmgarage.com and bought the merch, because YouTube is a wild ass place and I can't always count on them to pay me adequately to keep building crazy stuff for me and for you guys to enjoy. So every time you buy some stickers or a hat or a hoodie or a shirt, it helps fund stupid things like my 1961 Cadillac Coupe DeVille, a 46,000 original mile rust-free caddy that, yes, I did cut up and make much lower and then promptly never drove again. In fact, I've been embarking on this project for roughly 3 years, and the truth is I have the attention span of a carrot. So although I have good intentions of working on this thing, every time I see something else, I'm like, ooh, squirrel, and I go over here and go on an adventure. But the truth is, blasphemy is really what stopped this thing from getting done. Blasphemy, until recently, hasn't been real reliable. And I have goals for blasphemy that I've not yet achieved. And one of those goals is winning another drag and drive event with that car. And we're very close. We just did Sick Week, which we're making a movie of. We're editing it right now. You'll see it soon. Finished and got second place and brought the car home without actually breaking it, which is outstanding, which means I don't really have anything to do to that car other than play with the clutch. I can get back to work on this one. And I'm happy about that because I just talked to Tom Nelson from Nelson Racing Engines, and that engine, the 540 motor, twin turbo, that is supposed to go on the dyno in like 4 weeks, which is awesome. Because really we need that motor back soon, because if you guys remember the last time I updated you on this thing, we finished the turbo kit, or got 90% of the way done, enough so he could dyno it. And the next step is to finish the chassis work, the sheet metal work, and then we're on to wiring and plumbing and finishing the car. So in today's video, I think what we're gonna do is roll this thing out from underneath the lift, cut the door bars out of it that are in the wrong place. You can't even get the factory bench seat back in the car because the door bars are too close together. So we're gonna cut the door bars out, put the bench seat back in, and decide, are those Chevy Bel Air floors that were welded into this car when the chassis got done too high or just perfect? Can we keep going forward with that, or do I need to rebuild the floor? So first things first, we're gonna roll it out of here and yeah, get out the Sawzall and start cutting stuff up. So this car had 46,000 original miles, bought it out of an airplane hangar. It had not a lick of rust on it. Nearest I can tell, it got repainted once, poorly. The paint job wasn't horrible, but the prep underneath was no good, which is why we took this to the PRI show after the chassis got done. And the trunk latch is not in it, so we put gaffer's tape from like movie stuff on it to hold the trunk lid. And when we got home, we peeled it up. I believe it was Mike Cotton peeled it up and ripped the paint right off the trunk. And that's when I noticed it had shiny primer underneath it.
It's Cotton's fault then?
I mean, you could say that. I didn't say that. I might have alluded to it. I didn't actually say it. I just stated facts. I think he was the one that might have applied and or pulled the tape off. Right now it's a rumor, you know, do with it what you want. I don't know. At some point, the paint needs to get stripped off of it because it's just gonna keep falling off, especially when we finally go fast and this thing hauls butt and it's so fast, the paint just starts peeling off of it. I drove it maybe 3 times, but it was fun. It just kind of floated down the road like an old mattress, you know, and it was a fun car, but it wasn't fast, didn't corner well, didn't stop well, didn't do anything really well. But it was a great looking car, and I just had this picture in my head of like a pro street, really low, really fast caddy. Something I could fit 4 or 5 people in. So commissioned a brand new Mentorment chassis for it. It's sitting on Viking coilovers all the way around. It's got weld wheels on it, massive 32-inch Mickey Thompson tires in the back. It does not have an adjustable on-the-fly ride height. Like, we don't have hydraulics or airbags on it. It's static. This is how low it is. And the chassis is 90% done. The cage, which should cert to 850 cert, I think, is pretty close to being done. The floors, nowhere near being done. In fact, I can see between the rockers and the floors. The firewall's not connected to the floors. Like, there's a bunch of sheet metal work that needs to get done. Before we can do that, it would be a lot easier to separate the body from the chassis and finish the chassis, like all the plumbing and some other stuff, like putting an anti-roll bar on it. So I think today what we'll do is we'll cut out one or both of the door bars so we can set the seat in, because my goal was always to keep the bench seat in the back and the bench seat in the front, and then have the bench seat up front be removable so that if and when we do go really fast, I can put a proper containment seat in there, because the bench seat is so squishy that at no point, if you tighten your harnesses down, are you ever going to stay tight. You know, you're just going to keep cranking it until you suffocate, and then when you wreck, you're going to move around so much, you know, your guts are not going to be happy anyway. So yeah, when we go racing, it probably won't be with that bench seat, but I want the bench seat because I got to be honest, I have delusions of driving this to Vegas, like air conditioning, power steering, like Caddy, you know, classy, stylish. So yeah, let's, the bench seat is physically stuck in the car right now, so I think we'll just go right to cut a bar out, let the seat hit the floor, and then sit in it and go, yeah, this thing fits, or it doesn't, you know. We'll start there. This is a Milwaukee Hacksaw, runs on 18 volts, lithium batteries. Excellent for destructive testing, which is what we're doing here today. The test is, will the bench seat fit if I cut out the door bar? I believe it will. And don't worry, we'll just rebuild new door bars with a little bit of bend in them to get them away from the seat, and then we'll hack our door panel for our door bar, because that's most important. Yeah, there we go. Let's see, you know what?
Cut away, sir.
I should probably cut the bottom first.
Either way, that 500-pound seat's coming down on you.
Yeah, but I'm hoping if I cut the bottom first, then I'll be up here when this falls. Like butter.
Seat fits.
Seat fits now. And this tubing is bigger than I would have normally used. This is 1 3/4 diameter. The 850 cert spec really only calls for 1 5/8, but the car is so big that the 1 5/8 kind of looked weird in here. And the chassis shop was like, yeah, do 1 3/4. They do a lot of NASCAR stuff and dirt track stuff, and that's what they were used to doing, was 1 3/4, you know, roll cages, and not drag racing cages. So when I was like, lighter, 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 the car is heavy, you know, we butted heads over that. But in the end, I'm kind of glad we did it, because it looks a little better. And now that that's there, we can cut the other side. Like right now the seat's in there, but it's kind of shifted to one side. So we'll cut the other side and center it, and then sit in it and go, yes, this will work, or no, it won't. She's up pretty high. Like the top of those seats used to be pretty much even with the top of the door frame. I think we can lower the seat down a little bit, but I'm gonna sit in it real quick and just see what it's like. Okay, this is not gonna work. This is really high. We could change. No amount of rebuilding the floor fixes this. Like we could change the bottom seat cushion, because it's really thick. Yeah, look how much taller. These used to be even with the tops of the doors, and because the body's channeled down so far, these are now way above the doors. Everything about this. The back seat's a little higher than factory, but I think that works. But this, dude, I'm way up here.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Like your head's hitting the sun visor right now.
Yeah. So here's our alternative. I have a racing seat. Let's pull this out.
Okay.
We'll go grab the racing seat. And we'll see, can we make the racing seat look classy, like a Cadillac, and be comfortable with enough padding? We'll find that out. But let's drag this out for now.
Ooh.
So I originally gave this to a fan because I thought there's no way I'm ever going to be able to use it. Then I got it back from the fan because I was hoping to use it. Oh, there's towels.
Hog tied some towels in there.
Some
and
beach towels in there now.
It's got a little twist in right here.
Yeah, so if you got rid of the power mechanism, you could flat mount this and save a couple inches there. If you redid the foam, you could save some room.
It looks like the seat's up right now too.
Well, it is adjustable up and down, and
So it looks like it's high right now.
I never got it to work.
Okay.
Let's take this off and see how low it gets. I'll also grab my racing seat and show you guys how we mocked up the whole thing. This is the joy of seating, full containment racing seat. Kind of thing you'd find in NASCAR, ARCA, you know, road racing, anything really high speed. It's very light, it's made of aluminum, it's very strong. If you guys remember, I used to do a show called Faster with Finnegan, and in one episode, we went racing against Corey LaJoy. Excellent driver, races NASCAR, and his dad actually sent me this seat to mock up in this car. And so as you can see, it sits much lower. Does it look right in a Cadillac? I don't know, but I think what we could do is, for the street driving, remove the halo part of it around the driver's head, and then it's just a low back racing seat, which would look kind of cool. You know what? We might have mocked this up without the floors because the harness bar looks kind of low right now. If the harness bar is too low, that's actually good news, because if I have to raise it up higher, that gives the backseat passengers more room. Oh wow, I'm actually really low.
Are you?
Yeah, let me shut the door. I'm really low. Like I can just see over the windshield wipers. This isn't bad actually. Like this height is pretty good. And I can go further forward.
And you are, well, see, we don't have any mounts made for the seats at all either.
No, it would get an aluminum side mount that goes down to the floor.
I'm almost wondering if it would be worth it to cut all this hump out right here, continue it down, just do a flat floor here, then we can build mounts up to whatever height we need, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, the other thing is the one thing we've never done is we've not put a drive shaft in here.
True.
To make sure that
It's gonna clear.
when the suspension cycles doesn't even clear this, because this is pretty low. So that might be the next thing, is to put a trans in here with a yoke, put a third member in the rear end, and get a drive shaft built, and then cycle the rear suspension without the springs out, so we can see, does that even clear? Because you're right, like this doesn't need to be here.
No.
And in fact, if we do what you said and then mount the seat up, that gives us room under the seat to maybe mount the ECU and electronics and stuff. Up in the air on the bend pack for the first time. It's a lot of car. Yeah, so as you can see, there's no cross members essentially from the transmission cross member all the way back. This was kind of a temporary cross member that they welded a drive shaft safety loop into, but they welded it up into the car, which is strange. So we're gonna cut this out, cut that out. We're gonna weld an X in here with round tubing. And then really the last thing at the back of the car is to put an anti-roll bar in it, because there isn't one right now. Man, those are short 4-link bars.
Very.
The upper ones are so short.
Why did it make them so short?
That was the only way to fit it, because we wanted to keep the back seat.
Oh,
If the back seat is right here, if you didn't care about the back seat, those bars could have gone much further forward, but I wanted the back seat. All right. And I'd say 67 and 7/8 long. The rear wheel tubs are actually tack welded to the frame rails, but not the body of the vehicle. You can see this is the Cadillac floor and inner fender. That's the aftermarket one that was made. I think the rear of the body, the only thing that's really holding it are the factory body mounts here and here that are bolted to the rear cross member. And then I think if we come in here, we're gonna have to cut this panel away from the roll bar and from the package tray. There's a little cross member there. Once we cut that away, there's really nothing along the sides holding the floor to the body. The body is bolted to the frame. So I'm thinking, cut that away, unbolt the rear of the body, unbolt the front of the body down here, unbolt the forward bars on my roll cage, and then I think we can lift the body straight up off of the roll cage. And when we do that, the floor ends up staying with the chassis. We'll drag the chassis home to my house, put a drive shaft in it, cycle the rear suspension, find out if it's gonna hit the transmission tunnel and the drive shaft tunnel. And if it does or doesn't, at that point, we'll make a plan for what are we gonna do about this floor? Are we gonna keep it? I think we're pretty certain the raised parts we're gonna cut out, but are we gonna do anything else? Because the goal is to get the chassis out from underneath the car, finish every little bit of welding we gotta do, then paint the chassis, then put it back under the car, then permanently attach it. But in the meantime, can we make the floor better? Can we finish the portions that go up to the firewall? Yada, yada, yada. Can we mount seats? Can we build new door bars and a new harness bar? All of that is a lot easier with the body off the car. So today's goal, get the body off the car. And I believe in less than an hour, this body's off.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start here unbolting this. Once this is off, we can put it on the lift, get it up and unbolt all the body mounts and stuff. Oh good, they're not really tight.
As far as going fast, I don't have a whole lot of hopes for it, to be honest with you. But it's going to be super cool.
I think it has the potential to run 8s. I do. But beyond that, I don't want it to turn into a full-blown race car where all we do is work on it. I want to drive it. I want to drive it more than anything. Whoa, there it went.
There goes our plate.
Okay, so see that? This plate bolts through the firewall, sandwiches to this plate, and this plate is drilled and tapped. Make removal super easy.
I love Blasphemy. That car is just so angry.
Blasphemy is the funnest thing ever to drive, though. I mean, I haven't driven this, but Blasphemy is never, ever, ever boring.
No.
But it's not classy.
Yeah.
I was legit at a restaurant last night with my wife on a date, and some old man came by on his way out and thanked me for being there because me being there made sure he wasn't the worst dressed person in this restaurant.
Now that's classy.
I had a shirt with a collar on, bro. Granted, it was a flannel, but I felt pretty good about who I was that night. So I feel like had I had the caddy with me, you know, he would have felt differently.
Yeah.
He would have then been the worst dressed. Front of the roll cage is disconnected. Now we disconnect the steering, and we don't have to do it yet, but that downpipe will need to come out at some point. Then we put the car up in the air and move to the rear.
All right. That's out of the way. There we go.
Bingo.
Let's put that back in one of these.
Just take this off. Holy sh!
How heavy is it?
It's 30 pounds. Grab it.
Is it really? Oh my God!
Yeah. That just has to hold 5 pounds of parachute. We're rebuilding that. That is a rear cross member. I'm gonna go back and sleeve these so that it doesn't get crushed when the bolts for the rear bumper are tightened. That is our trailer hitch. That thing is outstanding. I wish it didn't stick out of the bumper so far, but for now, I'm not worried about it. All right, so I gotta undo these vertical ones. Joe's getting the 4 that are in the middle of the chassis, and then I believe this thing will come apart. Wow, the body is trying to, hold on a second.
What?
The body back here is lifting up off the chassis.
Okay.
I want to make sure it's not going to fall off or something.
It can't go. No, because it's sitting on these 4 tabs on top of the chassis.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I'm going to keep going then. Do you want me to wait
I
till...
appreciate the heads up. I really don't want to be down here.
Yeah, I'd say, do you want me to wait till you're out of there? Or... All right, it stopped. It picked up like...
We're just squinching it down on the mount there,
It picked
probably.
up like 3/8 of an inch and then it stopped. Get you guys a little closer look at what I was seeing there.
I appreciate that, of not trying to drop another car on me.
Ah, you're a good dude, you know. We already had an El Camino try to flatten you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this thing did actually run me over, remember?
I don't, I've already forgotten it. Oh, that's... Whoa. That's frightening. Okay.
That's so weird.
All right, the bag of the body is loose. Down we go.
I think our front corners are okay.
Yeah, they're already passed.
That's a midget roll bar in there now.
I don't think you can say that anymore. Nice. She's free, dude. You can stop. Yeah, right there. It'll roll out from there. This is the build a really fast Cadillac starter kit right here. First, you get yourself an excellent condition 48,000 original mile 61 Cadillac Coupe DeVille body, and you throw away everything. You build that, and then put these other things back on, you know, when you find time. Those are big tires. I love it. All right, let's take the roller home. We'll strap this to the lift, and while it's up in the air, we'll finish repairing the whole firewall. We'll grind all this crap off the inner rocker. The reason it looks like this is at one point that shop plated the rockers and then welded the body to the frame. But then I went, fellas, can't paint it, it's all together.
Small problem.
Small problem. So we'll just fix that up. And then once we painted the chassis and everything and it's all done, we'll marry it back together. And then we will weld the wheel tubs to it, and it will be permanente. So cool. We're rolling.
All right, Chris, we're loading the car.
It rolls a lot easier without the body.
This is the lightest Cadillac I've ever pushed.
You think we can get a running start and make it? I don't think so.
You want to tempt fate?
No. I like this. Let's keep it in one piece.
I mean, at this point, we're not going to hurt the body. This thing don't even know it's on there.
Caddy's coming home.
I don't know. You're pushing the limits of the winch there, Mike.
What do you mean? It's quality Harbor Freight. It'll make it. Wait, did you just call me fat? You son of a...
What?
What?
No, I would never do that.
Yeah, sure. Whoa.
We're on. The world's lightest Cadillac.
It still might not be the world's lightest Cadillac. All right. Let's go home and get to work. All right, you guys, if you're ever near Marietta, Georgia, drive shaft service, the best around. We called 3 hours ago and that drive shaft got done. That's the biggest drive shaft we've ever put in anything. Because it's for a caddy.
Carrier bearing.
Jesus.
Look, it's taller than me.
It's 67 inches tall. Long, whatever you want to call it.
I think it's taller than you.
We might go back later and change the yoke because
it's easy to change.
That cast one, I don't know. But I told him 4,500 pounds and 2,500 horsepower.
I'm not sure it'll fit in the bed of a truck.
As long as it can make it home without a dent. It definitely won't fit in the cab. All right, back to the shop so that we can test fit this and figure out if our transmission tunnel is going to work. Straight. Back towards you. Towards you.
Which way?
Towards you.
Back?
Towards you.
I'm trying.
Nope. We're too far this way.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet.
Okay. To hit something over there.
Good enough. Ish. Close enough. These are Viking triple adjustable coilovers, and we should, because they didn't have much tension on, we should be able to unthread it enough to get the spring off and then just bolt the shock back in. I think. Let's see. Yep. We're good. So all you do is push down, slide it out of the notch, then the spring comes off. Okay, give this one back to you. That can go back in.
Okay. Oh, so light.
Aluminum. I hate to say it, but I think these wheel tubs are going to have to come off because they're going to rust between the frame rail and the tub. Which sucks, but what are you going to do? All right, so that's full droop. And then we'll put the drive shaft in and then we'll cycle it to full bump. Let's see if it hits the floor.
To me?
Yep. All right, you got a strap? I'll get the upper one.
Does the upper one look like it's going in?
Yeah.
All right.
It's in all the way.
Okay.
Let me have a strap and I'll get it
right here.
locked down for you.
The bottom one's not even started, so I might have to tap it in.
Okay, you got to pull it back out to get the strap in.
Okay, hold on.
A little more?
That's it.
There we go. Oh, that's my fingers. Okay, it's crooked.
Yep.
Okay, let me get this started. Now I'm gonna put the lock washers on. This is what we're concerned about. The drive shaft tunnel. Is it tall enough to clear the drive shaft when the suspension goes full bump? Right now it's at full droop. You can see how much gap there is between the tire and the wheel tub. But when we take the car off a sweet jump and those tires go up and the rear end goes up, will this clear? We got a pretty good amount of room. Go for it, Joe. Getting close. Oh wow, we're getting real close.
We are on the bumps.
We're on the bumps, but the bumps are gonna compress. Oh, yeah, that's too tight. It's got less than 1/4 of an inch.
Oh, really?
How about this way?
That side looks fine. The driver's side looks really tight.
I'm just looking at top right now. I haven't looked side to side. But right
It gets
here.
really tight on the passenger side. Yeah, right there is the, probably right just above where your finger is, gets really tight. And you're right, there's maybe 1/4 of an inch.
So from here back, we need to make it wider and taller, which is no big deal.
Which that's like a second tunnel anyways.
This is over here. It's a little tight.
I think the rest of it, you got plenty of room. If you stand back here and look.
Well, we haven't crushed the bump stops, so it's gonna go up more. Like when it tries to bottom out the shock,
Yeah.
it's going to smash the bump stop. So there's no reason to take any chances and cut a drive shaft in half. I would, from right here all the way back, just build a new tunnel, because it's gonna hit the rest of this. Absolutely. So why don't you grab me a tape measure, and I'll give you a reference for how far back it's got to go. I'm glad we did this, because that tunnel ain't gonna work. So we now know from essentially where your feet go, directly behind the front seats, all the way back, that tunnel needs to be raised up. I'd raise it up a minimum of 3/4 of an inch, I think. Which is no big deal. That puts you into the area of the floor that goes up that we wanted to change anyway. So from here,
Yeah.
all the way back, that that drive shaft tunnel needs to come up in various spots. Like from here to here, it's tight. From here to here, it's open. Then it gets tight again, and then it gets tight again.
Yeah.
You might as well raise the whole thing up. So basically, from here back, this whole thing
New tunnel.
It needs to come up an inch.
Well,
This part of the floor needs to get cut out
right.
to get our seats to go down. So basically, you have to make a decision at that point, like, how much of this do we want to
How much do we want to save?
Yeah, how much of this do we want to save? Like, the back end of it, like, all of this is pretty damn good, but you have, like, a 5-inch gap on this side,
Yeah.
which we can add to, you know?
The floor looks like it's like pinched together. It's like bowed in the middle. You know what I'm saying?
It looks like it's going up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what they did was take two Tri-5 Chevy floors,
Try to make it fit.
and then they overlapped them and welded them together, and it, you know, means to an end, it's decent.
Yeah.
But like you said, if you stand here and look, the two floors are going
Yeah,
uphill.
they're peaking in the middle, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, once we cut that, it will lay down flatter.
We'll lay down. We can fill in what we need to.
Yeah.
All right.
And then, you know, basically we're going to add sheet metal from here over to meet the rocker. Once the car's all painted, and weld the rockers to the floors, the car never comes back apart again. But at least right now, we can cut the floor, get the seat mount redone, move the harness bar where it actually needs to be, which is up higher, which helps our backseat passengers.
Yeah.
Build the new door bar with a little whoop-de-doo in it. Actually, we don't even have to do that, because now that the seat's not so wide, the door bar doesn't need a whoop-de-doo. All we need to do is make it removable. So that same piece we cut out, we just need to put the removable ends on the end of it.
And we can't, no matter what, we've got to modify the door panel.
Yeah. Yeah, the doors weren't going to shut with the door panel for this door bar, the straight one.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I don't think we want to make it go in to clear it. I would just,
Nah, it eats up so much interior room, you know?
yeah.
Like,
I would just cut out where the bar goes. Door shuts and the bar slips right inside that door panel.
yeah.
And you still have a full-length armrest.
Yeah.
Next step is cut up a whole new floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see how tight it got right here.
Oh, yeah. Bingo. Alright, so there's where our transom needs to be. Perfect for a console. Cup holder, cup holder.
Speak loudly, you have no mic on.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, Chris. Alright, so my question is, how much room do I got between everything?
A lot of room, dude. You're I'll actually get a tape measure. Hold on.
Because I'm lower than I'm way lower than I probably should be.
Well, you're
like, I feel like the door is up here. Because this has got to be 5 inches lower than the old floor. The old floor was like, the old floor had a 4-inch step and it was off the frame. So we got to be a minimum 4 inches lower than we were before. I almost think this needs to be on 2x4s to get the height right. Where's the harness bar in relation to my shoulders?
It's about right there on your shoulders. So, but it's got to go over this upper bar here. You know what I'm saying?
I do not.
I don't know how this seat works. Like, how does it really lock you in? Because from your shoulders to the top of the seat is 3 inches. And right now, from the top of your head to this bar is about 5 inches.
So if we raise the seat up, we can move the harness bar up then. They must sell padding to move you up or something. Or the seat isn't correct for me, and the seat needs to be shorter. Yeah, so if the seat was 4 inches higher, then the harness bar would have never worked. It would have been lower than me. So that door bar needs to go basically between my shoulder and my elbow. So either that harness bar is perfect, stays where it is, and we get a different seat, or that harness bar goes up, and I get raised up in this seat and mount it where it's at. My concern now is I'm pretty sure the door opening is here, which means you can never put your elbow on it because I'm sitting so low in the car right now. All right, it's Valentine's Day. I gotta stop working. I should go upstairs. We did really good. We took the body off the car, ripped the entire floor out of the car, mocked up my seat, only to realize that either the seat is too tall for me, which it is, I think, or we're missing an entire section of bottom padding to lift me up to put my shoulders here, and this harness bar is way too low. Because if this is where my shoulder is going to be and the bolt's going to go over here, over my shoulder, this harness bar is way too low, which fine, we'll cut it out. We'll put a new one in up higher. I almost wish that's the case because in the back seat, this bar is real close to the passenger's knees. Up higher would be great. And lifting the seat up higher would be great because the door opening is like here, which means you can't, you're cruising like that, like chicken wing. We don't want that. So anyway, lots left to do, and you will see that on a future episode of Finnegan's Garage. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, buy a t-shirt. All this crap is expensive.